Okay, Kristin Bays and Joanne Linzer, will you please come forward?
Good job.
All right, ladies, I was asked to kind of get down in the weeds a little bit for judicial candidates, because oftentimes a judicial candidate will say, well, the rules of ethics prevent me from answering this certain question. So since I am considered a courthouse guy, they wanted me to moderate a little bit. So what I've told the ladies that I would do as a disclaimer is that I would first indicate that Joanne and I worked together for several years at the district attorney's office, but also consider myself a friend of Kristin Bays. I've had lunch with both ladies on several occasions, primarily to talk about politics over the years, so I know them both well. I have stayed out of this race. I've pledged my friendship to both of them. So that kind of makes me the perfect person. In fact, I have canceled lunch dates with all of them after I was asked to moderate this. So, what we're going to do tonight is, I have categories of questions that in reality is the type of question people really want to ask a judge, but they're too afraid to ask. The ladies do not know what the categories are. So, when I give them the categories of these questions, this will be the first time they have ever seen these categories of questions. To make this fair, Ms. Bays is going to go first. She is going to pick a category of question, and then Ms. Linzer will then answer the question. And I've told them, you can throw softballs at each other, or you can throw the high heater. It makes me no difference, because then it will be Ms. Linzer's turn to either then ask Ms. Bays to answer the same question, or she can pick from the questions. So I decided to start easy. I figured we'd go ahead and ask these judges what they really think, or how does the district courts impact this simple stuff. You know, abortion, same-sex marriage, immigration, black robe disease, work ethics, and court specialization. So, ladies, Ms. Bays first, if you would, what I'll do is I'll grab that microphone there, pick the category, then Ms. Linzer answers the question, then when she's done, she can either have you answer the same question, or she can pick one of the topics as well.
So we're kind of doing a game show this evening. So the topic today is, what are work ethics?
Work ethics. Okay, so the first question dealing with work ethics, as an elected official, there are no work hours that are required. I'll grab that microphone down there. As an elected official, we're not required to fill out a 40-hour worksheet. We don't accrue vacation time, nor do we accrue comp time. So, the average work week is supposedly 40 hours.
You have to turn it on. Just press down
There's two buttons.
on the left, far left until it turns green. Hold it in.
So there. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. So the average work week is 40 hours, ha-ha. But most people to earn a paycheck are required to work a 40-hour work week. What can you do, Ms. Linzer, to assure the people that you're actually going to be there at work and that doors won't be closed and courtrooms won't be dark during the middle of the business day?
Okay. I think that's an excellent question, Mr. Ligon. The reason that is such an important question is because many times people in this county have walked down the hallways of the courthouse and seen that there are courtrooms that are dark. And that doesn't give anybody a warm, fuzzy feeling about the fact that their taxpayer money is being well spent. So what am I going to do about that? Well, I can tell you this. Part of the reason that sometimes the courtroom looks dark is the judge is actually in their office and working. So if anyone wants to come by my office at any time to check on me, I will let you do that. I'll have an open door policy. Come by, say hello, and let me know that you're looking in on me and making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to. But the real thing is, I've been a prosecutor and a civil lawyer for 15 years. And the work ethic that I demonstrated in both of those roles is, you would be very impressed. What I can tell you is I've tried over 100 cases. Well, what does that mean, Joanne? Well, the 284th is a trial court. And so if the lawyers can't work out their cases, they have to go to trial. And I understand the rules of evidence. Those are the same for both cases. And those can be applied, those will be applied by the judge of this court. And I've done that over 100 times. So when you talk about work ethic, what you talk about is, for many lawyers, for many years, in order to get those cases ready, they have to prepare those for trial. I have worked round the clock to prepare cases for trial. And I will continue to work as much as I need to as the judge of the 284th District Court. And let me give you an example. One time I had to present DNA evidence in a case actually that I tried with Mr. Ligon.
30 seconds.
And I was up at 2 in the morning with the cleaning staff explaining to them the DNA evidence to make sure that a jury can understand it. I will be there for you. And I will work diligently to make sure that the caseload moves at a reasonable pace. And I will work probably more than the hours that are required, day and night, for you as the judge of the 284th District Court.
Ms. Linzer, you have an opportunity to either ask Ms. Bays the same question, or you too may pick from that simple list of abortion, same-sex marriage, immigration, black robe disease.
Court specialization.
Perfect. All right, court specialization. Ms. Bays, with a few notable exceptions, the courts in Montgomery County are courts of general jurisdiction, meaning all things in the district courts can be handled by a district court judge, be it criminal, civil, probate, or family. However, by agreement, the courts have agreed to be broken down by specialization. Currently, 4 district courts handle 100% of the felony criminal cases filed. The 284th is primarily handling all civil matters, with family law being handled by Judges Gilbert and Robbins, what my understanding is. Do you support the current alignment of specialization? If so, why? If not, why not?
So the way it's set up now is the idea is we have these specialized courts, which you have specialized judges to handle, and that gives some real reassurance to the litigants who come in, because if you've got a family case, you're very pleased to have a judge who has a great deal of experience and a vast wealth of knowledge about family law. That's the idea. Our courts have moved in that direction. So, as Mr. Ligon correctly said, we've got 4 district courts that are handling felony criminal trials. We've got 2 that are handling family cases, and we've got 1, the 284th, which is handling civil cases. Now, let's go back to basics. Civil cases. Somebody sues you, you know somebody who needs some suing, that's what civil cases are. Basically, it's anything where people are not going to jail. So when people are suing each other, it's the 284th where they land. But here's the thing. We have a vastly growing county. Have y'all heard about that? Yeah. So Conroe is the fastest growing city in the country. Montgomery County is the 7th fastest growing county in the entire nation. And our courts have sort of felt that. So the 284th at the moment in time is now handling 1,834 cases. Think about that number, because that number represents people who have disputes that they need to get resolved. So at this moment in time, it would be a disservice to the county to change that court from its civil specialization, because we need someone who has the vast wealth of knowledge about that body of law to handle those cases for those people. It's not just a number. Those are people. Those are people whose homes and their home ownership may be in dispute. Those are people who feel that they've been harmed. Those are people who may feel that their homes are falling down because of an engineering defect. It's not okay to make them wait as long as they've had to wait. So what I will tell you is, conveniently, the reason I'm running for this court is because for the last 24 years, I've been a civil litigation attorney. This is what I do. This is my area of expertise. Specialized courts work if you have specialized judges. The specialty of this court matches my specialization, which is why I think I'm the right pick for the 284th.
Thank you. Move on to the next topic. Take a mid-set break very quickly. Most of them I have indicated, oftentimes we hear enough of these debates, we're like, hey, they're all married, they're all great people. So to kind of save a little bit of that time, Ms. Bays' website is baysforjudge, spelled out F-O-R.org, so that's baysforjudge.org. Ms. Linzer's is joformoco, once again spelled out JOFORMOCO.com. I'd rather you go to their websites to find out some of those things about their family, how they're great people, how they're all married, those types of deals, instead of spending your time listening to that kind of stuff. So, all right, ladies, let's move on to our next topic, Ms. Bays.
It seems to me that perhaps, fairness would dictate, and judges really ought to be fair. We're going to kind of switch questions. So, Ms. Linzer, tell us about court specialization.
Thank you. So as you've heard from Mr. Ligon and Ms. Bays, the 284th District Court is a court that specializes in civil cases. And you've also heard that these cases take up a lot of time. Now, everyone has talked about our county growing. There are over 500,000 people in this county, and when I went to high school here, there were about 158,000 people in the whole county. And so we have grown, and the reason that we have grown is because people want to live here. It feels like a hometown still. And they bring their businesses here, and we need a place that 284th District Court needs to be available to those people who find themselves in the middle of litigation that detracts from their business. And we need to move their cases along at a reasonable pace so that they can get back to doing business. I can do that. Now, we're talking about court specialization. I was in a court as a prosecutor when it went specialized. And I've seen how efficient that makes a court. And I can tell you that in the past, my opponent has not been for court specialization.
30 seconds.
And so I think that that's important to know. I think she now realizes that it is an important way to handle cases and that it's the only way to handle cases. But I believe in it, and I think that the court specialization is very important for the efficiency of our courts, and I'll continue to do that, listening to the Office of Court Administration as the judge of the 284th District Court.
Okay. Ms. Linzer, would you like to ask Ms. Bays a question? And we're going to finish with the way that you two ladies suggested.
Again, to be fair, I would like to ask Ms. Bays about work ethic.
About work ethics. Fair enough.
Work ethic.
Would you like me to repeat the question, or?
Oh, I think I've got it. I'm going to work hard, I'm going to do good things, ta-da!
I would like to point out that the judge candidate has skipped abortion, same-sex marriage, and immigration. For some reason, that might be kind of tough to handle.
For some reason, really, is that confusing? Work ethic. Like I mentioned, this court has an enormous number of cases. There was an article in the Houston Chronicle a Sunday ago that talked about a federal district court judge who had a dizzying blur of 621 cases. That's 1/3 of what this court handles. So let me tell you something. It takes a little bit of oomph to be able to run for this position because the workload of this court is huge. Our Office of Court Administration has done a measured case study with the growth of our county and so forth and so on, and has determined that really to handle the cases, Montgomery County needs 4 full-time civil court judges. It has 1 full-time civil court judge. So the person you're electing will effectively be doing the work of 4 people. I'm ready. I'm ready to do that kind of work. I signed up for this. I am ready to demonstrate to this county that once we have another candidate for them, that number of 1834 cases is going to be way, way lower. Because I'm committed to working hard for it. And that is why that court really shouldn't change to go back to its general jurisdiction nature. It's not a matter of having some epiphany. It's a matter of being responsive to the needs of this county. That's important. You want someone who is attentive to what the best thing is to serve you. It would be unacceptable. It would be irresponsible. It would be a mistake to start tinkering with this court. You just need to put somebody in the position who can actually manage this caseload, who's willing to do the work of 4 people, and who will work hard for you with the body of knowledge, the wealth of experience, and the ability to handle these cases and handle them well. I think I'm the right pick for this court.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bates. So the ladies had discussed with me earlier that they would like to ask each other a question. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow Ms. Linzer, Ms. Bates said that Ms. Linzer could ask her the question, and Ms. Bates would finish up. They're both going to get 1 minute to respond, and we'll be done with their time. So, Ms. Linzer, did you have a question that you'd like to ask Ms. Bates? Remember, this is an adversarial process, but it doesn't have to be confrontational.
My question for Ms. Bays is, how has your faith influenced your career?
I'm from Montgomery County. My faith influences pretty much everything that I do. I went to Baylor University, a Christian school, place where Old Testament, New Testament, and chapel forum are required courses. And then I wasn't done yet. I went on and got the Christian legal education at Baylor University School of Law. In my career for the last 24 years, here's what I'm going to tell you. I've had a lot of trials, which means I've prayed a lot. I can't imagine that there's ever been one trial where there hasn't been several prayers all along the way before they begin, while it's going on, while my witness is on the stand, while my client is freaking out. Lots of prayers along the way. It's important that you have a judge whose faith affects her life. Not just her career, but her whole life. Mine does. So thank you for that question. Sorry to tell you that it is adversarial, so I've really got a tough one for you. You ready? Hold on to your hats.
I'm ready.
What's your favorite movie and why?
Oh, the tough ones. My favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. And that movie, the reason it's my favorite movie is that, you know, it's a classic. And it's one of those things that I remember growing up, sitting around the house, watching it with my family at Christmas. So it reminds me of family. But the other thing is that it's a great message of faith. And it reminds us that the things that we do in our lives actually affect everyone around us. You know that part where he goes back and he sees, after he's gone, that he had actually positively influenced people so many times and he didn't even know it. And I think that that's why that movie speaks to me, because my hope is that in my career of serving the people of this state and of this county, that I have affected their lives in a way that maybe I won't ever know, but was positive in a way that they move forward with good thoughts of me. And so that's my favorite movie.
All right, thank you, ladies. The judicial ballot is a ballot that once you elect them, you'll hardly ever hear from the judge if they do it the right way. A district court judge recently told me her job was to make it the most boring district court that anyone had never heard of. Honestly, if a judge does their job well, you should never hear from them again. They shouldn't reach out to the community. It should not really be so much swayed by public opinion. So it's only in opportunities like this you have an opportunity to really kind of bore down into what their true thought process is. Did they put any true information out there, or was this a lot of cotton candy? We don't know. We'll let the voters decide that issue. But once again, thank you for your time, ladies.